Good evening and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. And as always, we're back with another massive show to bring you guys this evening. But before we jump into that, please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 21,000 subscribers. We're only about 100 away. So if this is your first time watching, please do make sure you subscribe and get involved in the show. On this evening's show, we're going to be talking about a reported war chest for the January transfer window that Jim Ratcliffe is going to hand Erik ten Hag, as well as some players that apparently Jim Ratcliffe is planning on selling in the January transfer window, including Jadon Sancho to Saudi Arabia. Lots of other bits to get into on the show, of course, tonight as well. Please do make sure to get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on everything we discuss on today's show, as I always do like to see what you guys have to say about it. Just before we get into the current Manchester United related news, I want to say another sending our thoughts, our prayers, all of our love to Sir Bobby Charlton's family, friends, and all of those who knew him. Obviously, Manchester United icon, legend. He's got a statue outside the ground. He's got obviously a stand named after him. One of the, if not the greatest Manchester United players of all time. Survivor of the Munich air disaster, all the rest of it. You guys know. I know most people watching this probably didn't live through that era. Obviously, I didn't, so I never saw Sir Bobby Charlton play myself. But I know the impact that Sir Bobby Charlton had on Manchester United. And let's be honest, we wouldn't be the club we were today without players like Sir Bobby Charlton, George Best, and all of those Busby babes who ultimately built Manchester United to be what they are today. And I was listening to an interview earlier on today with Sir Alex Ferguson, and he ultimately said that the only reason that he came to Manchester United was because Sir Bobby Charlton brought him. Sir Bobby Charlton supported him throughout the whole process. You know, when there was times of potentially Sir Alex getting sacked in the early days, Sir Bobby Charlton stood by him. And yeah, obviously all of our thoughts, our prayers go out to Sir Bobby Charlton's family. It was his funeral today in Manchester. So yeah, obviously it's a very, very sad day. But yeah, obviously we will continue with the show, and I will be doing a special video later on tonight, which will be pre-recorded. It'll probably come out about 9 o'clock tonight, where it will just be a tribute to Sir Bobby Charlton. So if you guys have anything that you want me to read out, any thoughts or any just like feelings you have, memories of Sir Bobby Charlton, get involved in the comment section. Let me know, and I will read them out on this pre-recorded show that I will be uploading tonight. But let's move over to the topics of today's show. Obviously, we've spoke a bit about Sir Bobby Charlton, which of course I think is definitely had to be done. Let's talk a little bit about this January war chest then. So this story's coming out from a couple of different journalists this afternoon, and they're reporting the following. Breaking news: Sir Jim Ratcliffe and let me start again. Jim Ratcliffe will give Erik ten Hag a transfer war chest in the January transfer window to overhaul his squad. I think that's good. I think that's necessary. It then goes on to say that Manchester United will also be willing to listen to offers for Anthony, Jadon Sancho and Anthony Martial. It says Erik ten Hag is targeting a forward who can play either on the flank and also a right back. Interesting positions there. I think definitely we need another forward player. I do like Rashford on one flank and Garnacho on the other, but I think we do need a world-class right winger. Anthony just isn't cutting it for me. I think obviously Marcus Rashford and Garnacho can fight it out on the left side, but we need somebody to come in and really, really dominate that right-hand side of our midfield. You know, you've seen Jeremy Doku go to Man City, absolutely tearing it up. We've seen Moussa Diaby go to Aston Villa, really, really good. We saw obviously, Gakpo, lots of people have come in those right-wing positions and really, really made it their own, whereas I just don't think Anthony has, unfortunately. So I definitely do think we need to do that. In relation to a right back, I'm not too sure about that personally. I think that's maybe a little bit wrong. We've got Dalot, who seems to be performing okay. We've got Wan-Bissaka, who in my opinion is one of the best one-on-one defenders in world football. Not great going forward, I'll give you that, but a right back I would not say is a priority. Obviously, I'm not the Manchester United manager. Maybe Erik ten Hag seeing something different to us. I think a priority is a centre-back, Obviously, Martinez is going to be out for a good 2-3 months longer. Luke Shaw's injured for 2-3 months. He was the third choice centre-back last season. There's question marks over Rafael Varane's future. There's question marks over whether Harry Maguire will be at the club. I think we really, really need to go and get this centre-back. So for me, in that January window, I reckon we definitely need another attacking player. Whether that's a striker who can also play on the right wing, I think that would be the ideal situation. Somebody who can take a bit of the weight off Rasmus Højlund's shoulder, but somebody who's also versatile and can almost play in any of those front three positions across the forward line. I'm not sure who I can think of off the top of my head, but Let me know in the comment section who you think would be an interesting name. Obviously, we've been linked to people like Gnabry from Bayern Munich, but I'm not sure about that. I don't think that's the kind of deal we'd be able to get done. I think we need to be looking at maybe more realistic options. Maybe someone like Marcus Leonardo, who plays for Santos in the Brazilian league. Maybe someone like Taremi, who plays for Porto. Somebody like that, I think, would be a realistic option. But let me know in the comment section. We definitely need another attacker, and we definitely need another defender. Welcome to Justin, who's just joined the Daily Red Devil Members Club. Thank you very much for your support. If you do want to join the Members Club, I will drop a link in the chat to do that now. I think we're still doing our promotion. It's like 99p a month, and you can join. Yeah, get involved. So if you want to do that, then please do that. Let's have a look. Right, I've just dropped a link to do that in the chat. Let's see what people are saying this evening. Digital Sports Update says we need a striker, a centre-back, a right winger and a CDM. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I think my priorities would be a striker first, then a centre-back, then a CDM, and then a right-back in that order. So that's what I would go for. But let me know in the comment section what you guys would do. Obviously, we will talk about Jadon Sancho in a minute because he does look like the person who is going to leave in the January window. Obviously, he's completely out of the frame. CT80 says, I want Frimpong. Frimpong will be good. Welcome, Conde, who says, good evening from Sierra Leone. Welcome. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Simon says, Jim Ratcliffe has lied constantly and got in bed with the Glazers, so very difficult to be positive. I feel you, mate. I do. I feel your pain. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? Right. The Unlimited says, hi, Kieran. Love from Cape Town. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Right, let's move on with the next story, though. Obviously, we've spoke about this January war chest. I want you guys to let me know in the comment section what positions Manchester United need to strengthen, and also let me know what your preferred players are. You know, do you want us to go and get somebody like Frimpong? Do you want us to go and get Taremi? Let me know what your thoughts are, as I always like to see what you guys have to say. Now, let's move over to this story about Jadon Sancho. Obviously, we've spoke about him so many times on the channel. I'm not going to bore you with any of the same details that we've spoken about, but there is a couple of journalists this afternoon reporting the following. They're saying that Jadon Sancho is now being targeted by clubs in Saudi Arabia for a January transfer. It says he is a long-term target for the Saudi Pro League and interest is set to be ramped up when the window opens. It says Sancho is desperate to leave Manchester United. All signs are pointing to a January exit, and the Middle East remains a strong option for him. I think that has to happen, to be honest. I really, really do. I don't want to see us loaning him to someone like Juventus or Dortmund. We need to send him off to someone like Saudi. I reckon we could get 50 million for Jadon if he went to Saudi. We paid about 73 for him, didn't we, a couple of seasons ago? Obviously, he's on absolutely astronomical wages that only Saudi clubs would pay for him. He's on around 350k a week. There's no way that Dortmund, Juventus or any of those types of clubs would pay that type of wages for him. Most of those clubs, their highest earner is about half of that. So there's no way on earth those clubs would stump up 350 grand a week, which would mean we'd have to loan him to them, probably pay half of his wages, which is, for me, it's just stupid. So hopefully this Saudi story is realistic. I think, you know, if you were selling him to someone in Europe, he's probably worth about 30 million tops at this point. But if you're selling him to, if you're selling him to someone like, I don't know, Al Nazar, Al Ittihad, someone in Saudi, you would expect to get around 50 million euros, which of course is still us operating at a loss from the 73 million euros we spent on him. But at this point, we just need to cut our losses, don't we? He's clearly not going to get back into the Manchester United team. The only exception I can possibly think of, right? And as you guys know, I'm 100% Erik ten Hag in. I think he's the right man for the job. But if Erik ten Hag was to be sacked by January, which I don't want to happen, but you never know in football. You never know. Imagine Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos take over. The results start going badly. The fans start protesting again. They might react and get rid of him. It could happen. I don't think it will personally. But I just wanted to highlight our run of fixtures up until the January transfer window. We have got probably our most difficult run of the whole season. So let me just run through it with you really, really quickly. And then I think you'll understand why I've even suggested this statement that potentially Jim Ratcliffe could let go of Erik ten Hag by the January window. We've got Everton away, Galatasaray away, Newcastle away. Those are our next 3 games. Very, very difficult. Hopefully we can beat Everton away. I think that's probably the most winnable out of those 3 games. Galatasaray away is going to be incredibly difficult. We've never beaten a Galatasaray away from home. Obviously, we lost to them at Old Trafford a couple of weeks ago. Newcastle United, I mean, if they've still got all their injuries, I think we might have a chance. But I think by that point, it's in about 3 weeks' time. I think a lot of their players will be back. After that, we play Chelsea at home, who, if anybody watched the game yesterday against Man City, Chelsea look like a real strong side at the moment. Then we've got Bournemouth at home, which should be a winnable game. After that, we play Bayern Munich at home, then Liverpool away, West Ham away, Aston Villa at home, and then it's the January transfer window. So if you actually look at our next 10 fixtures, right, of our next 10 fixtures, the only one that I would say Manchester United should be 100% winning, 100%, is the home game against Bournemouth. Genuinely. Like, and even then, that's, you know, we nearly drew with Luton on the weekend, let's be honest. Like, if Luton had scored in the last couple of minutes, I don't think anybody could have been that critical, because we didn't kill off the game, did we? So we've got a very, very difficult run. I think, obviously, it's papered over the cracks a little bit, obviously, in the sense that, you know, all of the headlines are that Manchester United are the most informed team. We've won 4 of the last 5 Premier League games. But when you look at those games that we've won, we've beat Luton, Fulham away from home, which I guess is a difficult fixture. We've beat Sheffield United away, and we've beat Brentford. So we've beaten some of the lesser teams in the Premier League, let's be honest. But then, arguably, Brighton just drew with Sheffield United. You know, you can only beat what's in front of you. Maybe we'll come after the international break, go and beat Everton, go and beat Galatasaray, and go and beat Newcastle. It could happen, you know. We have the players, we have the manager to go and do that. It's just whether the mentality, whether the desire is there to get it over the line. We'll have to wait and see what happens, won't we? Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. The Unlimited says, Kieran, would you take relegation for the Glazers to go? I don't think they would go, mate, to be honest, but yeah, I probably would. EE says, we need another striker and a centre-back more than a right-back or a winger, with Højlund's potential injury and Evans, Martinez and Varane all injured. Yes. Just on Højlund's injury really, really quickly, Højlund and Christian Eriksen have both dropped out of the Denmark international fixtures. So both of them are 100% injured. Double injury blow. Very, very frustrating. We don't know the extent of the injury at this moment, but 100%. Højlund and Christian Eriksen will not be part of the Denmark fixtures over the next couple of weeks. So hopefully this is just a precaution. Hopefully that means that they'll be able to play again. But my opinion is, I reckon they're going to be out for a little while, personally. It was a hamstring injury for Højlund, and it was a knee injury for Eriksen. I would imagine we're probably looking 4 weeks, but that's just a guess. It might be less, it might be more. But the fact that they've dropped out of the Denmark team, I think, does make you have to be a little bit concerned, doesn't it? Especially when our next option is Anthony Martial. Like, if Højlund doesn't play, we're going to see Anthony Martial in what's going to be probably our 3 most difficult games of the last 10 games. Daniel says, can you see all the players on other... Daniel says, can you see all the players that are earning 300 grand a week going in the next couple of years when Jim takes over? Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say. Somebody says we should play Rashford as the striker. Yeah, I would probably say that's the best option if Højlund's injured, because, let's be honest, Anthony Martial doesn't really offer anything. Digital says, after the international break, the next fixtures we've got are very difficult. Everton, Galatasaray, Newcastle. But we are United. We can do it. We have to have that mentality. I agree. Midas says the manager should not buy and scout the players. I agree with you there, mate. Edric says, do you think Erik ten Hag will let go of McTominay in January? I would be shocked if McTominay goes in January. He's played like the last 5 games in a row. He's getting goals. McTominay does always work hard. Yes, he's not the best player in the world. I would be absolutely shocked if we sold Scott McTominay. I think the only world in which we sell Scott McTominay is if a massive bid comes in for him. I'm talking around £50 million. Maybe someone like Newcastle does it. Obviously, they've lost Tonali through suspension. They've lost a couple of other players through injury. They've got a real injury crisis at the moment, Newcastle, and we know that they seem to be buying a lot of players, from the UK, from England, Scotland. Like, they seem to be basing their team a lot around kind of young. I know McTominay's not that young, but, British players, let's call them. That seems to be the kind of philosophy they're building. Fred says, how do you think January will go when Onana is away? I mean, you have to have faith in this Altay Bayindir guy. We have to. Like, I have no idea. I've never seen him play football before. It is a massive worry, isn't it? When Onana goes, what's going to happen? But yeah, let me know what you guys think. How concerned are you about the January transfer window? Do you think Manchester United will struggle with Onana gone, or do you think we'll be okay? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Let's move over to the next story. Just a quick one as well, actually. So Diogo Dalot has dropped out of the Portuguese national team. There was some people thinking, what's going on here? Is it an injury? But it has now been confirmed it is for personal reasons. Apparently, Diogo Dalot and his wife or partner are expecting a baby in the next couple of days. So obviously sending, congratulations to Dalot. Apparently he will be back in time for the international break. But yeah, he's dropped out of the Portuguese team. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see when he does actually eventually come back. Let's see what people are saying in the live chat this evening. Somebody says Højlund will be out to 3 to 4 weeks. Yes, I think that's realistic. Irvin says, is it sell to buy in January, or Ratcliffe will give some Xmas money to spend? I think money will come in from Jim Ratcliffe. You know, it's going to be his first transfer window at the club. He'll have to put some money into Manchester United, and I think that we will see players leave. I think Sancho will go. I think Donny van der Beek will go. I think maybe a couple of others will go as well, maybe out on loan. So yeah, I would imagine that 3 or 4 players will probably leave United in the January window. If United are going to do proper business, Anthony Martial would go as well. Anthony Martial would go, Donny van der Beek would go, and Jadon Sancho would go. Those 3 players 100% should leave in January. Obviously, there's then people like Varane, potentially going to Saudi, Casemiro. You know, there's all these other names on the kind of sidelines of that, which I'm a bit 50-50 on. But I literally wouldn't even blink if those 3, Martial, Sancho and Van der Beek left. Van der Beek hasn't played any minutes this season. Anthony Martial comes on for 10 minutes and doesn't look interested, and Jadon Sancho's refusing to play or apologise. So all 3 of them have to go. All 3 of them need to go. It's not an option, really. They need to be told that they're not part of the plan, clearly, and you need to leave. So hopefully that happens, and hopefully Jim Ratcliffe, Paul Mitchell, and this new Jean-Claude Blanc CEO man just come in with a bit of a tight ruling and just say, you know what, you're out, go. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. Right, let's see what else people are saying in the chat quickly. Everyone who's just joined, or if you're watching this back on repeat, please do smash a like on the video, and please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner. Doesn't cost any money. We're on the road to 21k subscribers, so please do subscribe if you haven't already. Simon says, do you think we will buy, or do you think this is just spin? I think we will buy. The reason I think we'll buy is because Jim Ratcliffe's going to want to please the fans. I think players will leave. I think we'll raise money from obviously players going, wages being taken off the wage bill. Sancho, 350 grand a week. Donny's on about 150. Martial's on 250 grand a week. I mean, those 3 players alone, right? That's 750 grand a week in wages removed. That's just let that sink in for a minute. Sancho, 350. Martial's on 250 grand a week. And Donny's on 150. That's £750,000 per week. Just let that sink in. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, so I think even if you look at it from that perspective, right, how much money would we be saving? I mean, there's probably let's say 30 weeks until the end of the season from when the January window opens. Let me just work this out for you quickly. Yeah, I mean, if those 3 players leave in January, right, it'll be about £20 million in wages we'll save between January and the end of the season. 20 to 25 million. That's absolutely mental, isn't it? Gabriel says we need to spend about 400 million. Somebody else says, I don't think McTominay will be leaving in January. Graham says we should have taken off Højlund sooner. I agree with that, yeah. As soon as there was any sniff of an injury, Højlund should have come off. We know that he obviously has this back injury as well, so we need to give him a bit more patience, I think, and be a bit more vigilant when we saw him having a bit of an injury. Johnny says we need Martial. We haven't got any other strikers. I disagree, mate, to be honest. I don't think Martial offers anything. I think you let Martial go and you bring in a replacement. I don't like the excuses of, oh, we've already got another striker, because we don't. It's like we're playing with 1 striker, and Højlund is now injured because he's been overplayed. Anthony Martial doesn't contribute, and when he does contribute, he gets injured. Fred says, do you think Jim Ratcliffe will take dividends as a shareholder? No, I do not think that will happen. I would be absolutely shocked if he took dividends. That would be the worst possible thing. Simon says, why would Ratcliffe allow Arnold and Murta to spend his money? These aren't his guys. Well, from what we're hearing, it will be Paul Mitchell and Jean-Claude Blanc will come in immediately. Immediately he'll come in. So I don't think that he'll give Richard Arnold and John Murta the money to spend, to be honest. And if they do, that would be the biggest mistake he could possibly make. They need to go first. Then we need to bring in Paul Mitchell, Jean-Claude Blanc, and we need to get a proper plan going. Rajat thinks we should keep Anthony Martial. The thing is, right, Anthony Martial's contract expires in 6 months, in June. So if we don't get rid of him now for a tiny transfer fee, We'll lose him in the summer for nothing anyway. I just think that you could go and get somebody better on a hell of a lot less wages. £250,000 a week. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, let's have a look. Let's have a look at his wages quickly. Not his wages, sorry. His stats for the season. I just don't think he contributes anymore. I liked Martial. He was one of my favourite players when he came in for a good couple of seasons. I mean, arguably, he's got more goals and assists than Anthony has. He's got 1 goal and 1 assist in 15 matches, Anthony Martial. So yeah, he's technically contributed more than Anthony has. So yeah, maybe if you look at it like that, he should stay. But I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined me on the show this evening. Please do make sure to smash a like on the video before you go. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner, if you haven't already. This has been Daily Red Devil. I will, of course, be back tomorrow morning. There will be a tribute video to Sir Bobby Charlton going up later this evening, so make sure you look out for that. Have a lovely evening, a lovely morning, day, wherever you are in the world, and I'll speak to you all later.